snake coming. Left us out there all night in the dark for a snake.
No. My godfather, he told me something. I can't technically say what he said it was,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the lower end of a person,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Yeah, it's sideways." I was like,
Okay.
"Really?" I'm like, for years now, mind you, I'm like 20 something. I'm working at the mechanic shop and everything else,
I've
and
heard that before.
it was like the most hilarious shit ever. Now that I'm like, really, God, really? I don't even see why I believed them, because I worked so hard to get to the mechanic shop. I was working at Midas,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I was in between jobs. I had to clean the place for like 3 months for them to actually finally like, you know what, we're gonna hire you on. And I went back faithfully for 3 months, just cleaning, because I wanted to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I kept doing it. And so, yeah, he told me that one day, and I was like, "You serious?" He's like, "Yeah, it's sideways." I'm like, "I did not know that." It's like, "Yeah, you got to go get some." I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And then I find out, I'm like, "This, yeah." So,
Yeah, but it helps. Yeah, like they did me at MW one time. Second year I was there. I was working in mechanics down below into shipping.
yeah.
They sent me to get the door stretcher. That's the hardware store. They said, told me how big it was and everything. Here I go down to the damn hardware store getting a door stretcher. I got down on all them laughing at me. I said, what the hell y'all laughing at me about? He said, what kind of door stretcher you want here? And I said, they didn't tell me. He said, go back up and ask them. I went back up on the farm and said, I'm waiting on them. He said, who sent you to get the door stretchers? And I said, them two, right, John? Oh my God, there wasn't no such thing as a door stretcher.
Yeah. And so like Granddad with the monkey wrench.
Oh.
Yeah, I was holding and I gave it to him
He
and
said,
he was
y'all get
holding
back
his
over
right
and go to
hand.
work.
And he said, now here is your left-handed monkey wrench. He said, don't believe it, everybody tell you.
That's right.
Yeah. And Grandma's favorite thing was, and that came to me like an epiphany because she was already dead. But she talked to me one of the times I was in such a rage. But some like it seems weird because she tends to pop in when I'm really ticked off, or some reason it does. But she says, "Jay, baby, don't argue with no fool."
Yeah, I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard it before in my life when she said that. And whenever she says something like that, I know it's her because everything gets quiet except
See,
for her voice.
see, my brothers always picked at me because I was in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And when we was kids, I was about 5, 6 years old. We go down to Grandma's granddad. Grandma called me Weasel because I was so tiny than the rest of them. She'd say, come here. Weasel, come here. She'd give me a butter biscuit with some honey or jelly on it. Go out there on the side porch. It sat right beside this pump. This pump right here.
Okay.
Until you eat your biscuit, not let them know it. And when I went over and I found that pump and brought it home, put it in my yard.
Awesome. See that?
That's over my
That right
place,
there.
yeah. And I can remember lots of times going out there eating that biscuit, and none of them knew that I was eating my biscuit. She wouldn't give none of the rest of them, though. It was just me.
Oh
They
shoot.
called me her little weasel.
But the old folks, they were brilliant. I always call them the elders. You reach for the wisdom of the elders.
And us two don't pay no attention to nobody.
Yeah.
We don't do.
I listen, I hear.
Yeah, we
Sometimes
watch
I do what
things.
Grandma said: listen more, talk less.
Yeah, I pay attention to the older people.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. Because I've learned a lot from them over the years when I grew up. I remember what one told me one time about your best friend.
Yeah.
If you got a good friend in life, hang on to him. Because when he leaves you, you lost. And when Mr. Puckett died, you've been lost ever since. Because me and him was pretty damn close.
Damn.
We done a lot. I've been knowing him 25 years. Plus, he's a little related to me too. Took me 20 years to find out he was related to me. And when I first met him, about 15 years ago, he was working for the county landfill, driving the truck for him. I met him right up here when they had the dumpsters up here. Talked to him. then me and him hit it off right then. That's when me and him started seeing each other, talking, going to come to each other's house and going over to his brothers and all. And all the time we run a poker game out there in the basement for 29 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Smith did, and all the time his brother was coming over here. His name's Amos Puckett. And he was coming over here playing poker, and I didn't even know that was his brother till we got to talking one day. He said, well, Henry, don't you know my brother? I said, he's over this way living. I said, no, who is he? He said, you probably see him every day. He's right up from your house. I said, ain't nobody living out my house I know. He said, no, he drives the land truck, picks up the dumpsters. I said, yeah, I know Mitch up at He said, well, that's my brother. It like to freak me out. And we've been knowing each other for 25 years, all of us. And we got to be real close and all. And if you ever have a good friend, you don't know how lost you'll get. Because once it's gone, you lost everything. I stayed here for a week. Cecil seen me. Just like I was in another world when he was gone. I hurt too.
Well, I can understand that. I mean, I haven't really lost a friend. My parents was more or less like my go-to option.
Well, it
Yeah.
hurt me worse when Mitch died than it did my parents.
Yeah, nah, my friends are all still here. I keep in contact with a lot of them still.
Yeah.
But like I say, I believe like I always meet a new friend.
Well, see, I just lost a cousin last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up together, fished together, hunt together, everything, play poker together, everything. We done everything together. And he's the first cousin of mine. And I just lost him Friday, and I've been lost since Friday. I don't know what's going on anymore. But we was close. He'll be 59 the day after Christmas.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and call it for this interview and everything. But I do have one thing to actually tell you, a little wisdom. Is that you never really lose a friend because they're always in your heart.
Oh yeah, I know. We've been talking about that, me and him.
So it's something that I always understood, and that's why I always carry my parents' words around with me.
Since Mitch began getting started, the last 32 days Mitch lived coming home, this fella right here has been a good friend to me to help me. I mean, he go out his way to help me if Mitch fall, help me get him up and stuff.
Yeah.
And Cecil's been a good person. And Cecil done something that no other man would do. And I never thought he'd do it. When Mitch died, he laid his hand on his chest. See, some people won't do that. And I know what Cecil done it for. Because he lost a friend too.
I understand that.
Mitch was cool.
Yeah, he was a cool dude. He'd do anything for you.
I came over one day. Henry was hot. It's like
he knows how to get to me. See, he couldn't talk. He had
a
stroke. He was paralyzed one time. He lost his feet. And the only way I could commute with him is listen to him, carry on.
He got him fired up. And I said, well, maybe I need to go home or something. And then Mitch looked over at me and winked.
And then he said, gotcha. And I know then what he done to me.
It took Henry about 10 minutes to calm down. Well, he did calm down. And Mitch was enjoying all of that.
He was eating it up, laughing his ass off at me.
Yeah,
Who got me like that 2 or 3 times? I mean,
Mitch was good like
got right up under my skin, too. Oh, and just stupid stuff. And I said, Mitch, you just throw something at me still and doing that. He pointed at me and go, ah. I said, you little devil, you.
Yeah, but see, we get the work done around here, and that's about, once you get the work done, we sit down and relax.
And we watch everybody and make sure they're all right around this little area.
Yeah. All right, y'all are doing fantastic.
Love it. I like the retirement business a great deal. I never thought I'd get to this point. Well, I wasn't supposed to, but I got lucky. You know?
Yeah, me too.
And so
I come through a brain tumor, paralyzed from a brain tumor when I was a young boy. And then I ended up, after getting out of that, went to work on a job for 13 years. I started having seizures then. Then I lost my job for having seizures. And I come back home and went back to work on the farm. Worked 8 years on the farm. and I was working weekends as an auctioneer. Auctioneer. And then that's 29 years all through my life. And then here 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with leukemia. Now I'm hoping I'm over that now.
That's just the way life works. Ups,
I said if I can go through
ebb
it,
and flow.
if I can go through it and pull through it, anybody else can do it. Main thing, the man above asked him for help.
Mm-hmm. I did that quite a few
You got
times.
him and good friends, you got help.
I definitely done that quite a few times. I heard.
I've asked that man for more than anything. I never asked him for nothing different. I always asked him for help. And he's helped me too. I wouldn't be here today if he didn't.
Yeah.
Cause at the night Mitch was dying, I asked God to let him die and not suffer, and he did. Cause I didn't want him to suffer. That morning, I got him fix coffee for us, and I come out on the porch and sat down and drank half a cup of coffee. Then all of a sudden, something told me to come back inside. I opened the door, and this cold breeze went right through my body and out of me. And I walked over and laid my hand on him. He was dead. I was answered. And then I come up, Cecil come over, and as soon as he come over, I told him about it. And then he told me what God done took him home from me. But we I learned to accept things to go on because life goes on. I know that.
That's true.
But like I say, if you really believe in God and all that stuff, because the night before he died, his voice come back and talked to me. And he told me he accepted God in his life and everything. And he told me one thing, do not cry over him. And I walked out of the room and I couldn't help from crying because I looked back, he was crying. So I walked back in and hugged his neck and said, it's all right, Mitch, to cry. God said it's good to cry. So we sat there and cried a few minutes and he just went on to sleep. But you got to think about things. I've sat and thought a lot after he's passed on. Days is going to get better. And we're going to be there one of these days too.
Yeah.
We ain't nothing going to hold us back. God put you on this earth to live till he calls you home. And you going home too. There ain't no choice about it.
And that, people ends the wisest moment.